Are Larry Ogunjobi and Kwon Alexander about to become the newest members of the New York Jets?
No huddle, Wilson end zone, caught, touchdown, Elijah Moore.
What is going on, guys? My name is Tigo. Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. And before we hopped into the video, I just wanted to remind you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, and it really helps get the channel out there. The YouTube algorithm does not like small YouTube channels, and the best way to beat the algorithm is by you guys hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, and dropping a comment in the comment section below. It really helps the channel get out there to new people. About 60% of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you haven't already, do it. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos, and let's get right into the video. Larry Ogunjobi and Kwon Alexander are being reported by Connor Hughes to be the Jets' biggest targets in this post-draft free agency period. Now, I wanted to go over both of these players, talk about their scheme fits for the Jets. Are they fits for the Jets? How do we fit them under the cap? All of the questions. Should we go after them? All of that stuff. Let's start off with Larry Ogunjobi. Larry Ogunjobi was drafted in 2017 in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Browns out of Charlotte. He spent 4 years in Cleveland before going to Cincinnati, and last year in Cincinnati, he played all 16 games, and he totaled 7 sacks, 49 combined tackles, 29 of them being solo, and 20 of them being assisted, 12 tackles for a loss, and 16 QB hits. This is a pretty good statistical year. Now, as a lot of people know, Larry Ogunjobi had a contract with the Chicago Bears before failing a physical, and the Chicago Bears voiding out his contract. Now, how does Larry Ogunjobi fit the defensive scheme and personnel that the Jets are trying to do? So the Jets run a 4-3 defense, and the whole idea of our defense is predicated on the fact that the front 4 rushers, the 2 defensive interior guys and the 2 edge rushers, are going to get after the quarterback after every single play, and the other 7 players on the field are responsible for covering and protecting their front 4 in the run game. Now, how does Larry Ogunjobi fit into that? Well, Larry Ogunjobi, according to Pro Football Focus, and really if you just watch his tape, is a much better pass-rushing defensive interior guy than he is a run-stuffing defensive interior guy. And a lot of people are like, why are we continuing to get these pass-rush interior guys? Why did we let Foley Fatukasi walk and all of this stuff? And it goes back to the mantra of how this New York Jets team is built. We aren't built around the idea of playing the first 2 downs as run-stopping downs and then rushing the passer on 3rd down. We rush the passer every single down. We are in the backfield every single down. And that is going to affect our run-stopping ability. Our run stop needs to come from the secondary and from our linebackers. And so Larry Ogunjobi, I think, fits the Jets perfectly. I think he can come in to a rotational role because we don't run all of our starters for 60-70% of the snaps. We'd be lucky if one of these guys played for 40% of the snaps this year. We like having fresh legs on the defensive interior and on the exterior, on the defensive line in general, and we like having as many starting caliber players on that defensive line. If we look at the San Francisco model, how many first-round picks did San Francisco have on that front 4? Well, I think it was like 5 or 6 at one point. They love the rotation. They love having fresh legs because fresh legs are going to be, you can't rotate tackles in and out. You can't rotate guards and centers in and out. So if you can keep, to take a word out of our new favorite Jet, Michael Clemens, coming up and punching them in the mouth over and over and over again, people are going to fall in love with that, and people are going to be really, really into that idea. Now, I'm going to talk about how we fit Larry Ogunjobi on the 53-man roster after I talk about Kwon Alexander. So let's talk about Kwon Alexander. Kwon Alexander is going to be going into his 8th season in the NFL. So he's really, really a veteran when it comes to this. But the great thing is he's actually the same age as Larry Ogunjobi. Larry Ogunjobi is going to be 28 by the time the season starts. And I'm pretty sure so will Kwon Alexander. Kwon Alexander apparently shares a birthday with my wife. Very, very cool. So But Quan Alexander was drafted in 2015 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 4th round. He spent 4 years in Tampa before going to San Francisco. He played 2 years in San Francisco before being moved to New Orleans, and he spent the last 2 years in New Orleans. Now, the biggest question and the biggest concern with Quan Alexander is injury. Outside of the 2016 season, he has never played a complete season. In 2015, he only played in 12 games. In 2017, he played in 12 games. In 2018, he played in 6. In 2019, he played in 8. In 2020, he played in 12. And in 2021, he played in 12, but he only started in 8. There is a big injury concern there with him because he just can't seem to stay healthy and he can't seem to stay on the field. Now, that being said, we do like to see some of the stats and the things that we see out of Quan Alexander in his years, right? Last year, for the Saints, in the 12 games that he played, he had 1 interception, 2 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovered for 8 yards. He had 3.5 sacks. He had 50 combined tackles, 39 of them being solo, 11 of them being assisted, 7 tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. Now, what does that tell us about Quan Alexander? One, I think he's great in coverage, personally, and that's what we need out of our linebackers. We need good coverage linebackers because they're going to be asked to drop into zones and read and react more often than other linebackers. And the other thing is, I think that he's actually kind of a quality tackler. He does have like some areas of improvement, what player doesn't, but Quan Alexander, I think immediately if he's brought into the team, becomes our number 2 linebacker. The Jets play so much nickel and dime coverages that we rarely run 3 linebackers on the field. Rarely ever. And when you look at the depth at linebacker and the players that we've brought in, there hasn't been much change from this year to last year. And I think that if you polled a lot of Jets fans, they would all kind of fall into that statement of the Jets need to add new linebackers. And I kind of fall into that as well. Well, Quan can be a perfect addition to that linebacker room. As of right now, we only have 8 linebackers listed. A team tends to carry 9 to 11 linebackers onto the field. And I'm sorry, I don't think all of these linebackers that are listed are going to make the roster. And this is where we start talking about how do we fit Larry Ogunjobi. When we look at our team right now, and the team that the Jets have 15, if we add Larry Ogunjobi, 16 defensive linemen. Well, the real thing is here is we have to look at the other position groups on the defensive side of the ball or even on the offensive side of the ball where we might be able to save room on the 53-man roster. Right now, our safeties and our cornerback rooms are filled to the brim, and I don't think we're going to carry all of those guys. Our defensive line is filled to the brim, but I don't think we carry that many linebackers because we play so much nickel and dime. The other thing is right now we have a plethora of tight ends, and one of the tight end positions is dedicated to Nick Bodden as a fullback. Now, if Nick Bodden, who originally was a tight end, is playing fullback, why would we carry the additional tight end? Nick Bodden can be tight end 4, can't he? So there's a lot of questions that you look at that and you have that conversation, especially like the other one is like the running back room. We don't have to carry 5 or 6 running backs onto the 53-man roster. We can stick with our 4, wide receivers. With as much wide receiver depth as we have, our wide receivers 5 and 6, do we really need to carry a wide receiver 7 or 8 onto the 53-man roster? So there's a lot of finagling that the Jets are going to have to do to kind of fit these guys in, but we can fit them under the cap. I think that they're excellent additions to the New York Jets football team. I would love to see Quan Alexander in Gotham Green, and I would really love to see Larry Ogunjobi in Gotham Green. Now, if it was up to me in the linebacker room, I would look at maybe trading for the Falcon linebacker that is apparently on the market and that they're trying to trade away. Apparently, Deion Jones could be had for a 6th or 7th round pick. And so if I'm the Jets, I would prefer that avenue, especially because we can fit him under the cap as well. And I think personally, I like that fit a little bit more. And there's familiarity there with Ulbrich, but there's also familiarity with Kwon Alexander, with Robert Saleh. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like Kwon Alexander? Do you like Larry Ogunjobi? Do you think these guys are going to be fits for the New York Jets? Let me know in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.